Call to order the Monday, June 10th, 2024 meeting of the Ellettsville Town Council. We'll start with the prayer. Marshall.
Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening, and we thank you so much for the many blessings. We thank you for all the wonderful workers we have and the people we serve. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Chief.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whenever you're ready for roll call, please.
Calls. Scott Oldham,
Here.
William Ellis,
Here.
Trevor Sager,
Here.
Dan Swafford.
Here.
Approval of minutes for the regular meeting, May 28th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Action to pay accounts payable, vouchers, and payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Next is the open and community crossing grant contractor bids.
We have 7 bids to open. First is from Wallace Construction, Inc. from Martinsville.
Before we get into the bids, Mike, what exactly, this is community crossing grant contractors, but for what street?
Yeah, you're right. I think I'll ask Kate.
All right.
What's your question?
Where streets, where this time?
Was the street with me right offhand?
I can read them.
Yeah.
Okay, is it on the, okay,
It
awesome.
looks like it's Holly Drive from North McNeely to West Perry, and from West Perry to a dead end. West Perry from North Holly to North Shelley. North Shelley from West McNeely to the end of cul-de-sac. North White Oaks Drive from West McNeely to a dead end. North Terry Court from West Reeves Road to West Susan Street. North Mary Street from West Reeves Road to West Susan Street. West Susan Street from North Terry Court to North Mary Street, and from North Mary to North Robbs Lane. West Pine Lane from South Sale to end of cul-de-sac, and North Diana Drive from East Renee Drive to North Robin Drive.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first bid is
This is Wall.
Wallace Construction, Inc. from Martinsville, and the base bid is $216,127.50. $216,127.50. Next one is Grady Brothers Incorporated from Indianapolis. $225,000. $225,000. Third one is from All Star Paving Incorporated. Out of Seymour. $225,817.75. $225,817.75. Next one is from Milestone out of Bloomington. $183,144.25. Next one is Flynn and Sons Excavating and Paving out of Bedford. $186,450.50. Next one is E&B Paving LLC out of Bloomington. $187,187.66. And the final bid is from Lentz Paving out of Bloomington. And that bid is for $180,776.28. So as usual, I would suggest that the town council take the bids under advisement so they can be reviewed, and the winning bid will be announced at the next town council meeting.
Barring discussion from the council, is there a motion to table pending legal review?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Scott Oldham.
Yes.
William Ellis.
Yes.
Trevor Sager.
Yes.
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
There is no resolutions on this evening's agenda. There is an ordinance on first reading, which is ordinance 2024-12, to amend the salary ordinance 2023-18.
This is for the director of the high-tech crime unit,
Okay.
for his salary.
All right. Since this is an ordinance on first reading this evening, be available for public review, and we will come back to this for whatever else needs to happen, discussion, on the next reading at the next meeting.
The MOU between the town and the Monroe County Prosecutor's Office will also be on the agenda with this item for the next meeting.
And just as a reminder, this is a pass-through from the Monroe County Prosecutor's Office, so it's all coming off of grant funding, not our own.
Amounts in your packets.
There are no ordinances on second reading. There is some new business. The first part of new business is a request by Dessa Murphy for 2 decorative corner fences to be permitted in the town right-of-way, 1002 West Oak Street.
I'm withdrawing this. The petitioner's unable to attend meetings because of her work schedule, so I'll continue pursuing it through the code enforcement then.
I'm sorry, through the what?
I'm going to continue. We have a code enforcement action so about this, and she wanted them to stay, and then she's unable to attend the meetings because of her work schedule, any night meetings. So she understands, and she's talked to her fence guy about removal of the corner post.
Okay.
So my understanding, she'll comply with the code on there and take them out of the right of way?
At this time, she says, but through code enforcement, we'll make sure
Okay.
that is finished.
I live across the street from there, so I can also be a second set of eyes for you.
Okay. We'll move on to the hiring of new firemen. Chief?
Good evening. We're filling a new full-time position. We had 4 applicants, testing interviews, scenarios, past work experience, so on. The Board of Officers got together and selected Rylan Klaus. So I would like to bring Rylan's name to the council tonight for a contingent officer, full-time employment, pending the approval of Perf 77 physical.
Discussions or questions from council? Motions from council?
I'll make a motion to approve the hire Ryan Klaus, conditional on the is it per physical?
Correct.
Okay.
Second.
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Scott Oldham.
Yes.
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
William Ellis.
Yes.
Trevor Sager.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is purchase of a front loader for utilities.
Yeah, you'll see in the packet, we had 3 bids. Unfortunately, the lowest bid is not adequate size for what we need. And so we left the other 2 bids. One was Caterpillar, the other was John Deere. Caterpillar was considerably less. And I think that's the vehicle we would like to purchase. This is replacing John Deere 244 loader that we bought when the plant was built in 1995. I think the loader was actually purchased at the end of that, was somewhere in 96, 97. And it's,
Pretty sure we got our money out of it.
we got it. So we are buying we've already approved purchasing the tracks to haul sludge with. It's got a higher bed height on the side. The current loader is about 10.5 at the pivot point, and this new loader is 12.5 feet. So it'll serve us well, I think, for a long time. And I think we'll keep the 244 and make it a salt and sand motor once we get up here to the Department of Public Works.
All right. Questions from council or discussion? Questions or comments from the public? And back to council for action.
Jeff, is it the McAllister?
Yes.
Okay. And just so I'm clear on it, everybody's clear, 144, 397 and 52 cents. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the front loader for utilities.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Scott Oldham,
Yes.
James Swafford,
Yes.
William Ellis,
Yes.
Trevor Sager.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move now to the proposed 2025 budget schedule. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. Unified Development Ordinance, let's do that first.
Yes, I wanted to bring you up to date. The draft of the Unified Development Ordinance, or UDO, is being finalized. It'll be ready for the Plan Commission and Town Council on June 21st. We'll be dropping them off at everyone's homes on June 21st, but if you'd like to pick it up, just let me know. The draft of the UDO will also go on the website on June 21st. There will be an open house for the UDO on Thursday, June 27th at 5:30. This will give the public an opportunity to provide their input on the UDO. I will notice the open house for Town Council and Plan Commission, so as many members as possible from both boards can attend. The Plan Commission's public hearing for the UDO will be at its July 11th meeting. The UDO will then come before the Town Council at its July 22nd meeting.
Questions from council?
Just the ones that are on the committee, I know we got in the draft, are they still incorporating any suggestions or things we've replied back, or is it done and that already taken into account and they're about to send it I'd say the preliminary draft for the public?
Correct. Everybody's comments are being incorporated. Throughout the document, or see this chapter,
Right.
see this paragraph, blah, blah. So that's what's being all finalized at this time. There's some mapping being done that will be in the UDO. And so that's what we're working on at this time to finish the draft.
Thank you.
Anything else? Now we'll move to the proposed 2025 budget schedule.
I'll take this. So, does everybody have a copy?
We do.
Well,
Yes.
we put a copy up here for that department to shoot at, so looking for suggestions from the board what they want to do. We've already went through our first, maybe second round of budget work within the department heads and working with Noel and Kelly. And it turns out it's about like every year. We don't have very much money. There's not much to talk about. But we do have a couple of new entries as far as wanting to add a policeman and a fireman. And really we wanted to add 2 policemen and 3 firemen. But I think we can maybe look around at firemen and try to get a whole shift. And so there's just really not anything extravagant. We're looking at either a 3%, 4%, or 5% raise for the employees. And so depending on what the board does and how they, if they allow us extra revenue like that tax levy appeal, if we don't do the tax levy appeal, I can tell you now that we won't get policemen or firemen or hardly anything else. So there's a lot to talk about. We thought you might want a budget work session. We'd kind of like to know what you think this year especially. We tried to be aggressive about having a new budget, but at the end of the day, there's not much aggression in about 40 extra. So, that's it. The long and the short of it. I didn't want you to get too excited about this.
Council questions?
No, just to make sure that we're all available.
Well, I was going to ask the council's indulgement. Could we go the week beforehand during one of the nights? Because there's a fairly decent chance I won't be available that night or the next. Or actually,
I don't see
that
a
week.
problem with that.
What week? Yeah, give me a
The
second.
week before, any day,
So July 15th?
or anytime that week.
Okay.
I just don't know that I'll be available that week due to a wedding in the family.
Understand. It's not you, is it?
No, 20-some odd years ago, yes.
Yeah. And Mike, just to let you know on the levy appeal,
Want it the same week?
I want to be clear that they did say we could appeal, not necessarily for the full amount, but somewhere in between to none, right?
That's correct. It
So-
was ill-advised, I will tell you that.
What's that?
It was ill-advised by our consultants and
What was
considering
ill-
the condition of our budget.
Only night on Monday the
I don't,
15th.
I mean, that's why we should have a budget meeting.
That's what I'm saying. What was ill-advised? Not taking it or taking it?
Not, it was ill-advised not taking the whole thing, so they suggested we totally need to take the whole thing. And, I mean, when we have the
Planning commission?
work session, I think it'll all
Yeah.
The council meeting will be the Monday. They were trying to
Be-
do the work session before our meeting.
pretty
22nd.
apparent that we need any revenues that we can get.
Can you do the 15th? Mike, can you guys do the 15th?
July 15th?
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Sure.
Thank you much. Do you want to go at 5, or Trevor, is that a problem for you?
5 o'clock, hold on, stand by. Yeah, 5's fine.
5 o'clock still okay?
We'll make it work.
Okay.
So the 15th of July at 5 in here. Further comments or questions about this from council?
I have another comment. We'll get some more information to you, Noel, get that whole packet for you beforehand. Okay.
Anything else with that, gentlemen? Now we move on to old business, the discussion about the formation of a redevelopment commission.
I'll start. So, the last time we talked about it, it seemed to be, no offense to anyone, but we talked about the glass half empty. And so I was kind of not wanting to do it after the conversation myself. But there are reasons on the glass half full side of the conversation why we might want to have a redevelopment commission, and we might want to consider TIFs. I'd be glad to talk to you all about it individually. We can talk about it right now. There's everything from a west side fire station that might need to be funded through a TIF to 2.8 miles of road improvements on Starnes and Reeves and Flatwoods Road. You know, parks and trails are part of it. Upgrades to our infrastructure, water, sewer, and storm might be why we might want a TIF out on the west side. Downtown, we could use it for sidewalks and new signage and intersection improvements. And I mean, there's just all kinds of reasons why we think it might be a good idea, but I'm not sure you guys are interested in
Mike,
that.
I don't know of anyone on the council that said no to the thought of an RDC, or the discussion is how that RDC is configured. Am I kind of right on that? I mean,
Right.
I don't think anybody said,
I completely mistook what you were saying then. I think if we're going to go this route, we should figure out what your concerns are and try to figure out how to make you feel better about them and move on. I mean, we're getting ready to, on the west side, we're getting ready to start a new project. I think we would, we should take advantage of that new growth to start the process.
I think that what we were hung up on, I needed some answers from Ms. Brown, is the makeup or potential makeup of how we're doing it, not if we were doing it. I think we all see the value in it. It's just a question now of maybe some differing ideas about the makeup of the council or the makeup of the RDC itself. So,
Well, that's good news. I think the TIFs are warranted, and I sure didn't catch that drift at the last meeting. I apologize, but
That's why I spent so much time, is who would go on it, and the council would have one or two, if we had, because originally I had suggested the council be the RDC, but it was Scott or Dan or Trevor, somebody brought up the fact that then it would be the same set of eyes proposing it as approving it ultimately, and that kind of,
Yeah, I think we were just kind of trying to figure out how it's going to look. I mean,
Right.
how many seats, how many of us are going to be taking up seats, that kind of stuff, bringing in an outsider.
Yeah, I think the more I thought about it over the weekend, I know or the weeks, sorry. I don't know where you guys sit, but I kind of like the idea that we came at with 2 on planning, 2 on RDC.
that's kind of what I
And the
like.
president sets out every time, no matter who it is, so that way we're rotating people back and forth in these different positions over the years.
that's what I agree.
You comfortable with that?
Yeah, but the only question, again, goes back to Darla, with the whole thing about holding 2 lucrative offices if it pays, because,
That'd be the same as planning commission, wouldn't it?
well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Wouldn't that be the same as Plan Commission?
No, because there's a statute specifically on point that states that 2 town council members can serve on the plan commission.
Okay.
So that gets you out of that issue with the 2 lucrative offices.
So how do we get around this?
Yeah.
Can we do a salary ordinance just for the 2 town council members that they don't get paid?
Well, I'd also have a question about whether or not the plan commission members could also get paid if they're already being paid by the plan commission. So you're talking about plan commission members serving who aren't already on the council, correct? Right.
Through the council.
Right, but yes, the 2 council
Yeah,
members.
that might be a problem, so, but I'd have to call Baker Tilly.
Yeah, it'd be the 2 council members that are not on the Plan Commission would serve on the RDC.
Right.
Which would be you and me, right, William?
That's correct.
So, question, Darlene, not to, just because I'm confused. How could we be the RDC if we can't have 2 members on an RDC? How could the board serve as the RDC as a whole if 2 couldn't serve on it?
Okay, I think 2 can. I guess the question I was taking from you was how do we pay them or do we pay them? Is it the lucrative office issue coming up?
But could we do an ordinance for those 2? Just, I'm okay to
That's
serve for no
unpaid.
charge.
But does it
for
need to
no-
be consistent with planning commission?
What's that?
Does that need to be consistent with planning commission, where all 4 of the acting members aren't getting
Well, I
paid?
think their planning commission's in statute to be
Right.
allowed.
Not the pay, I don't think the pay's in the statute, but the fact that they're appointed on the statute is.
Again, that's a research question.
Right. There's 2 options. If they have to be paid, can the council, I wouldn't want to mess with the council salary. That would just be a mess.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, would it?
The 2 off people,
Would it? Because there's already differing pay amongst the council now,
correct.
depending upon what you're doing. So why would it be that different? You're not being paid by the RDC, you're being paid for more work on the council. And we could alter planning commission to be paid through the council as opposed to per meeting.
Yeah, planning commission's paid yearly, so once a year they get paid. So why couldn't we do it the same way?
Just amortize it into the.
Right.
But I think plan commission by statute is per meeting attended or called, correct, Darla?
At this time, they're being paid per meeting, but they get paid in December.
No, I understand, but how is that set? Because like a good example, the council, if we don't show up for our time, we still get paid. But plan commission, I thought, was paid by the meeting.
They are.
They are at this time.
Right, is that statute or is that ordinance?
That's local rule
Okay,
Yeah.
as
It can be
opposed to,
changed, but
okay.
No sense in changing it.
But that would get around the 2 lucrative offices if your council salary is going up based upon what you're a member of. If that's allowable, Darla.
So Darla, if I was thinking about paying the Plan Commission members next year, whether they attend the meeting or not, as the council is set up, would that be a problem for those serving on the RDC then?
Say that again? I'm sorry.
So next year, I've been thinking about paying the Plan Commission. I talked to Darla just briefly about it for whether or not you attend, like the Park Board gets paid. You know, at the end of the year. So, but if I was to do that, does
You've been
that
thinking of
then?
approaching the council with wanting that done? Is that correct?
I'm sorry?
You've been thinking of approaching the council to have us do that?
Well, I don't know. I haven't had much time to talk to Darla. Just briefly, I don't know if they do their legislative procedures or their rules, or if the council approves it. But if it makes a problem for them on the RDC, I won't do it at all. So I've been thinking about it.
Okay.
No, they would not be on the RDC. The people on the Plan Commission would not be on the RDC. They'd
Let's
continue.
think about that, though. It might be nice to have one planning member on there. You know, that person that's not on the council, but on the planning commission, give them a seat on the redevelopment if that's allowable. That way,
But that doesn't get into the two lucrative things because that person.
no, this is a different issue.
Yeah, that's a different discussion.
Yeah,
I see where you're going with it. but-
yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
And we probably will have to, since we have a hard time finding people to fill slots anyway. What I'd hate to though see is the RDC just be filled with the same people that's part of the process, so there's no check and balance. But I agree, I was kind of thinking along the same lines.
Yeah, because, I mean, that way they're kept in the loop.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
let's, I agree with you, but let's not cross the streams. So am I taking from this conversation that we want to form an RDC, we want to use two of the council people who are not the president, and who are not on Plan Commission on the RDC, assuming Darla can figure a way to make that happen? So are we agreed to that, guys?
I am.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so,
Two council, two Plan Commission,
No.
No, not yet.
just one Plan Commission.
no, not yet, let's not go
Okay.
there yet.
And that planning commission wouldn't be a council member.
So do we,
But you might as well check into it if you're checking, can a planning commission serve on the redevelopment too? Not a council member, just a
I think
planning
they can,
commission.
because I think somebody on the county
So if you could just check into that too.
has to do it.
okay, so real quick, because we're getting multiple carts going here. Darla, do you need a vote from us to form an RDC at this setup pending your approval? Or how do you want this as a discussion, or what do you want to do?
Let's
Well, I
just
need to
carry it
know-
on.
I'd like to know what the proposed makeup is of the board before I do the ordinance.
So the RDC would have 3, for want of a better term, civilians, would have 2 council members who are not serving on Plan Commission and are not the president.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Yes.
And then if we go planning commission, it'd be one planning commission member. And
Well,
it
but
would be
that's,
two.
that's for the makeup of the civilian side, I guess, where I was
Right,
terming
because
it.
we can always appoint that and just make that a custom more than a ordinance.
And then is it council appointment, president appointment, or how do we do it?
That's what I was.
Yeah.
I think the
think it says
statute
in
It's
either-
5 members, 3 appointed by the council and 3 appointed by the president and 2 are appointed by the council. And then don't forget that there's a non-voting member from the school board.
So then
Who
why
serve?
don't we use 2 of the 3 presidential appointments to make the 2 council members? And that way it leaves council with 2 and president with 1. Does that work?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
More tradition than anything else.
Because, I
And the
mean, it's a
president still has
no-brainer.
one person reflecting his or her views.
Well, that way the
Going
president
on.
can't pack it
Right, that's what
one
I'm
way or
saying.
the
You
other.
still
and The
have
council
one.
can't pack it
Right.
one way or the other. So does that make sense? You good with that?
I'm fine. Because the 2 that you're gonna put are just, they're already gonna be picked.
Right, well, if the president's appointing 3, the president would appoint 2 council members, leaving that person with 1. The council would have 2 other that they can appoint. So again, no one at that point in time can, we're looking years ahead, no one can go rogue with this and spread
Sure.
one way or the other. There's those checks and balances across the board. So again, if it comes down to it, if tradition being tradition, if the president appoints the 2 council members, the council appoints 1 planning commission, that gives council and president both 1 outside individual to pick.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way there's complete offsets, checks and balances across the board all the way up.
If you guys don't mind, I would like to hear back from Darla.
Oh, no, we're not voting on it. We're just,
And then
she needs
before
to
we
know where to go
vote
for it.
tonight.
This is
yeah.
kind of what we want her to
Right,
research
but
to see if we.
Scott mentioned that, something about making a motion, so.
Well, I didn't know if
just
she
thought-
needed that to even get this in progress or what, because I'm assuming it's going to take more than 1 meeting to pass an RDC.
Yeah, right.
No?
Actually, well, typically an ordinance takes 2 readings, and the ordinance itself doesn't have to be all that complicated. I think a lot of what you're working out would be part of your rules of procedure. Or you would work it out in some other way. Like, for example, if you're deciding not to pay people to get around the issue of 2 lucrative offices, that can be determined or passed by a resolution by the redevelopment commission at its first meeting. So
So it's not
most,
something we need to bake into the resolution now.
no, I would just like, before I do the resolution, to have in my head set where you want to go with this. But I've looked online at American Legal Publishing, at other municipalities who've passed a redevelopment commission or they've established a redevelopment commission, and the ordinances themselves are not that long or complicated. So, but I just want to get set in my head where you're going, what the council's pleasure is before I sit down and draft one.
So are you
If that makes
comfortable with what we've been talking about, or do you need?
I think that's fine. I will check on the plan commission member, but I think I know where you want to go with it, so.
Anything from you?
Nope. Thanks.
Okay,
And
so,
I would make a recommendation, if there's a problem with a plan commission member, see about a BZA member.
That's
At least that-
probably a no, because that is considered to be a quasi judicial office, and you
Okay.
can't hold more than 1 of those.
Fair enough.
And that's real clear, so. But the BZA is a little different than the plan commission, so.
Yeah, because you can't be a BZA and a planning commission.
Right.
either, so.
So Mike, you feel better now?
And then we got to find the money. in the
Yes, the
budget
best
to
I felt all day.
Fund this, and,
Well,
we should
we
really,
shouldn't be funding it.
well, we're going to have to in the beginning.
you're going to have some startup capital, but you won't have that much. I mean, a couple $1,000 probably, if that. So, you comfortable with all this?
Yes, I am.
Anything you want to change in it?
No, I think we ought to reach out to the school board, let them know they need to come up with a non-voting member.
I think we can do that pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think there's
then,
someone in here who could probably get
Yeah,
us in contact with those.
Jerry, do you want to speak to this?
yeah,
Please.
because I think there's an email
Yeah.
about this.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. As I've expressed many, many times, I really appreciate the partnership that the school corporation has with the town of Ellettsville, the council, and all the departments. And we certainly recognize the valid reasons for having a TIF. Being a citizen of Ellettsville, I also want to see my community to grow and improve. And so certainly support that. The school corporation has the potential for a significant impact if we do a residential, if you do a residential TIF, and that increase that we would not be receiving would be money that we would not be able to use to prepare for the growth in enrollment in terms of facilities and having the appropriate number of staff. So I appreciate the opportunity to have a non-voting member, but we all know kind of what a non-voting member doesn't have much weight. It's informative, and we definitely appreciate that. As you know, I sent an email to the town council just as an invitation that we wanted to be part of the process. And because it has such a significant impact, and Darla, I don't even know if this is legal to have for the school corporation to have a voting member, but it almost feels like if we don't, that we won't have representation. We'll have a significant impact, but without representation in terms of vote.
I absolutely understand what you're saying without a doubt, and it's clearly very important. Maybe this is something we need to sit down and talk about, because I think both of us can have significant financial impacts on the other, and right now both of us don't have input. We don't have input for your growth and your desires. You don't have input from ours. Right. So maybe that's something we should discuss offline for a little while as to how we can come to a mutually beneficial agreement.
The bottom line is, whether it's I would appreciate to have, we would appreciate having a voting member on the RDC. But the bottom line is, we would like to be part of the process.
Sure, yeah, and it's just,
so
again,
we work together.
Balancing act things, right? You know, because I'll be honest, and you and I've talked about it. There's been things the school corporation has done over time, not in the last few years, that have adversely affected the town. And the first we found out about it was after it was done. Right. You know, so maybe we need to clear the table a little bit. That while we have people on friendly terms working with each other, and figure out how we all work together to get what we need done.
And I hope that's changed over the last 5 or 6 years.
No, it has, but I'm talking about in the past. There have been things that have occurred.
I understand.
Before you got here, let's put it that way.
Well, we have a really good relationship, and I want to maintain that. Absolutely. And no matter what happens going forward, we have to maintain that good working relationship for our kids.
That doesn't help either one of us.
Yeah. So I'd be glad to talk with, set up a meeting with a couple of school board members, myself, one or two town council meeting members, or be glad to come around and talk to each of you individually. Whatever works for you guys.
We'll figure it out.
Appreciate that. But thanks for giving me a chance to say
No worries, absolutely.
I've been talking to Jerry and Matt about all this leading up to today, and we actually thought maybe a meeting where our lawyers and maybe even our accountants set in on a meeting, and we just have a work session about how we would develop a TIF and how it would work and how we could minimize impact to the school. And so I think down the road that might be a really good idea, and we talked about it.
Well, I think it behooves all of us, and I'll just put my thoughts forward. To negatively impact the school negatively impacts the town, and for the town to negatively, or for the school corporation to negatively impact the town affects the school. So again, Jerry, and I'm not going to say this simply because you're standing here. You have been nothing but outstanding for all of us, and your staff has been outstanding for all of us. So maybe now is the time that we've established a lot of trust with each other to put another foot forward and make sure that we cement this where it should have been all these years, and unfortunately just wasn't before you got here.
I agree 100%.
All right, thank you. We'll work that out. Anyone else? Either of the two of you, 4 of you. Okay. We'll move on now to privilege of the floor. Anyone having business for the council not part of the normal agenda?
Just want to keep saying great job to Chandler and the farmers market every Saturday. They've had very successful, and it's really is a good way to show you don't always have to have government involved. I mean, this is a completely private end, and they're doing great. So maybe us not being involved is helping its success.
Supervisor comments. Want to start? Yes, ma'am.
So at the last town council meeting, the winning bid for the Department of Public Works building was announced, and it was for Fox Construction Company. And the project, as you are aware, or you will recall, is just under $4.5 million. And so we're at the point now where we need someone to sign the contract. So given the amount, I thought I would ask the council whether you authorize Mike Farmer to sign on your behalf, or do you want the council president, Scott Oldham, to sign the contracts?
I'd say let's let Scott sign it.
Fine with that. Scott,
Okay.
go ahead.
I'm fine with that too.
Okay.
All right. Over
That
to
way
you.
you get your name on the front door too.
Phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah. Pyramid building.
Never mind.
Okay, I will let Jane York know then.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'd like to mention we're having food truck Wednesdays now too. So we had a band at the first one. I didn't attend, but
Yes, we're having bands every Wednesday. They start at 6 o'clock.
nice. Also, we're going to close the town hall on the 5th of July. So I just want to announce that. We'll be putting up notices and putting it on our website and all that, but we're going to be closed on the 5th of July, which is Friday.
We're closed the 4th as well?
Pardon?
We're closed the 4th as well, correct?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I'm just, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all I've got.
July.
Just a real quick story. It seems like just yesterday, Chris and Margie Klaus came to me to ask for some help for Ryland to go to all-day kindergarten. Here, we're hiring him as a full-time fireman now. So, you know, all I've seen from Ryland is just a nice young man, very professional, and enjoys what he's doing. So tell him I said congratulations, would you please?
Can I just caution the marshal that maybe we shouldn't be making age jokes? So how many of us did you have in Sunday school and everything else? Over to you. Anything else?
That's it. I'll stop there.
Jeff? Chief?
June 27th, the Ellettsville Fire Department, along with the Chamber, and the Red Cross, sorry. We have a smoke detector blitz in the Arrowhead neighborhood from 1 to 5. The Chamber would like volunteers, so if anybody's interested, they can either go to the Ellettsville Fire Department page and sign up to get to the Chamber site, or you can do it through the Chamber site. This is the second one we've done this year, so
Great feedback on the first one.
good.
And
That's
I did
all
one
I've
in
got.
Benton Township, I think 2 or 3 years ago, out by the lake, and the people there were just so, wow, thank you.
What was that date?
27th of June.
You probably noticed, or you may not have, but for about the last week, the DPW guys have been pretty busy on doing some crack sealing around town. They're making pretty good headway with it. Next Monday, June 17th and the 18th, I am hoping weather cooperates, and we're going to be doing something that William was wanting us to do, and that's do another street with Liquid Road.
Yes.
So we're going to do Sycamore Drive, so the superintendent probably like that as well, because it's a good road to be picked to be done with. I will be getting with the appropriate people to let them know the hours that the road will be closed. It'll be closed just during the working hours. I'll get with Denise. What's that?
Liquid Road. Fill those uninformed.
Liquid Road is like they call it like a thick slurry. It's kind of a mix between a thick overcover and just a regular like a parking lot seal coating, but it's got like a polymer additive in it.
It's like a garage floor?
No, it looks like, I mean, we did Raymond Run, and it's still black today. We did it 2 years ago.
Is it like a chip and seal almost?
No, it's a like I said, it's like a polymer with asphalt, like a tack, sandy grit in it as well. It just puts a little more. It could be like a chip and seal, but it's not as aggressive, I guess you'd say.
Right.
Like 11 stone.
They've been using more Owen County for a while, haven't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to extend the life of the street at least another 5 years or longer, and we're already at 2 years with Raymond Run, and
Looks great still.
yeah. The only place it's wearing, and the company that we're dealing with said it's their first they've done with our mini roundabout, I guess you call it, and it's showing wear in that. Of course, the radial turning in that is wearing it, but we're happy with it. I would like to do a lot more of them, but it's hard to do because people don't like to be kept in their house for 8 hours or not be able to get home for 8 hours. That's the only problem with it. And we just got a few houses between Hickory and Cedar that we're going to try to accommodate them for parking and way to get to their house while it's drying. So, and then on Friday, Juneteenth's Wednesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, we will be doing the Heritage Trail because it was put in, Mike, when did we do Heritage Trail? It's been a while. And it's needing something done to it as well. And they said it would be a good material for the trail itself. So we'll get it done. It'll be nice and black like the rest of the trail when we get it done too as well. So we're doing the trail also. And that's all I've got.
And the cost is about the same or less expensive?
The cost is way less than doing a mill and overlay. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands cheaper. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to add the food trucks are at Marcy Jane Lewis Park every Wednesday from 4:30 to 8:30, and the band starts at 6.
Anything? Okay, now move down to council comments. Anything?
Good.
Okay, seeing none, we're adjourned.